The passion for Collingwood, the enthusiasm looking forward to a game, becoming nervous about a game as if you were playing in it, is all part of an experience that you find difficult to relate to people who don't live in Melbourne or don't understand Australian rules.
High on the hill, looking over the bridge to the MCG.
Hope we see some Fasolo magic tonight, some Dacos type goals. Really good. I'm Shane Marshall. I'm a lifelong Collingwood supporter. I'm also a judge of the Federal Court of Australia.
Silence or stand.
Some people say to me, I'm surprised you barrack for Collingwood because you've got all your teeth. And people also say that an advantage of being a Collingwood supporter is you've got your own probation officer. So I think those sort of jokes make the stereotype that a lot of people say applies to Collingwood supporters.
You realise Monday's out that week, that's the day Collingwood beat Melbourne.
Given that the last time we won I was in school in 1964, I'm not holding my breath, Your Honour.
Lots of people have stressful jobs. My job can be stressful, and I have some escapes from reality, and I describe Collingwood as my primary escape from reality. When I'm in the crowd, I do get carried away a little bit, sometimes a lot. Although since being in this job, I've got a bit of a deeper respect for umpires than I had prior to the appointment. It's hard being an adjudicator. Going to the football with Kate is part of a father-daughter bonding thing. We both share a passion for the Pies. Our club's a broad church. We attract people from a broad range of society, and I'm proud to say that one of my mates is Joffa Corf. Yeah, but didn't you tell me that I scared you at the NAB Cup with my barracking? Remember when Milne gave us the bird?
Yes, yes.
I got great pleasure out of being taken into the cheer squad for one NAB Cup game in 2010 that got some publicity later. Joffa said that I should sit with him and enjoy a cultural experience, but you remember in that game we had it in hand, but just in the last few minutes there was an errant kick across the back line, and immediately after that happened the siren went. Milne ran straight up to the cheer squad and gave them a mouthful, and I couldn't believe it. I was there with my mouth open catching flies. Meanwhile some of the others were giving him the bird, but ended up being subject of a story about that in the paper, which was hysterical and a bit funny. There's quite a lot of people from various backgrounds barracking for all sorts of teams, and we're no different.
We were basically caught short in the area that we thought we were pretty strong in, and that was the contest. They smashed us around the ball. Minus 30 contested ball is amazing numbers, especially for this group. And clearances minus 18. It was a disastrous night for the midfield, and we expect better from that quality of player. It hasn't been a trend. It was we felt like that we could at least match Carlton in that area. So to go down like that's really disappointing, and that we'd expect a really strong response this week in that area. All the external media stuff, I think it's the coaching staff's responsibility to manage all that, and keep the boys focused on what the job is at hand, and that's internally. We're really strong about that, and we know what we're about, so we've got to keep driving that. And there's always going to be a lot of media, talk about the club, and that's fine. But what happens internally is what really counts, and that's up to us to drive that really strong.
We're more than aware that our performance against Carlton was poor. They're playing very good footy, and we perform poorly, and we've got to remedy that, and the rest looks after itself. The media's got to the point where there's a lot of opinion out there, and we're used to that. We're exposed to it. We're accountable for our actions and our performances, and I think it's justified that there's a little bit of there's questions and comment about our performance on Friday, because it was simply not at the standard we expect. Mick's working in the media, and he's entitled to an opinion. He's doing his job, and I think he's doing it particularly well. His perspective about Collingwood is more informed than anyone outside of the footy club. So I take I take note of his comments because he obviously knows intimately how the game was played from Collingwood in recent times in particular. So he can see the differences in the way, perhaps the changes and the shifts that we're trying to make. And like I read and listened to the comments, and all he's doing is making judgment or passing an opinion on what those are, and he's very accurate. The fact is that I had 8 years as a player under Mick, and in the last 2 years I worked as an assistant coach under Mick. I'm where I am now because of him. Way back in 2009, when we looked at each other in the eye and said, do we want to do this? If Mick hadn't have said yes, well, I wouldn't be here. So, he's been fantastic in my development, and Mick's entitled to his opinion, and I understand that it's going to keep coming, and it's unfortunate for all of us, but it's just the way it is. Oh, look, Eddie's a passionate man, and he's going to back and support Collingwood to the hilt. And I think where it's got to is it's not great for the footy club. I think it has been blown out of proportion. If you read Eddie's comments initially, the middle class comment was actually coming about how we performed on Friday. So it's more a knock on the current group and myself than it was on Mick. So I think there's probably been a miscommunication that's been fostered in many ways by some outsiders that don't mind to see the miscommunication pushed up. We need to perform well against Port Adelaide on Saturday. They've been a very strong performer through the pre-season in the early rounds, and we're definitely going to be totally focused on performing the way we need to play.
This is not good. So ball trying to come back. So they're down by 2 players now.
Yeah, so the last 48 hours have just been about coming to terms with the disappointment with what's happened, and so I guess you see other players go through it over the years and hope and think that it's never going to happen to you, but I guess my turn was up, and that's what the last 48 hours has been about, accepting what's happened and now looking forward to getting the operation done tomorrow and then jumping into my rehab.
Luke Paul looks like he's got some issues as well.
Yeah, well, when the first little incident happened, there was certainly some pain. Most players have been in a situation where they might have jarred their knee or ankle at times before, but this one certainly felt a little bit different, a little bit more painful than anything I've had before. But it sort of went away, and as you can see, I was able to sort of get up and limp off with the help of the trainers. Went down to the rooms and the doc assessed it, and it felt pretty good. As I said, it settled down really well.
And there's Luke Ball, so that is a good sign.
I thought I could certainly go back out there, but unfortunately, not long after, there was a second incident where I had to plant and turn, and went again.
This is not good. So ball trying to come back.
At the moment, it doesn't feel like I've got a season-ending injury. I certainly discussed the Lars option with the surgeon, Julian Feller. I think in this case, though, with the long-term view, I think the conventional option was going to be more favourable for me. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of guys already go through it this year, so I've already had a bit of a chat to those guys, Kath and Crack, and a few of the coaches have also been through it as well. So certainly had no shortage of support, plenty of text messages, and the Collingwood supporters and members in particular have been unbelievable in their support. So can't thank them enough. And as I said, that's made it easier to come to terms with and to look forward to to fixing it. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty early. It's only just happened, but I've come in today and I'm part of the leadership group, so that's certainly a role that I'll continue on doing throughout the year. And then anything else that the coaching staff thinks that I might be on top of that, I'll be more than happy to help out. We're only at round 3. I know we haven't had the best start to the season, but it is only early days.
We're here at the Westpac Centre, and Nicole is one of the chefs here in the kitchen. She's helping the boys today and teaching them about how to cook and prepare these delicious meals using ingredients that they may not be familiar with. It's a really important part of their nutrition education when they're in their first and second years of AFL football. A lot of them have come from all over Australia. Some of them still live at home, but most of them share in houses together. And cooking is one of the skills that some of them may have, but some of them certainly may not have.
Okay, the first dish we're going to do today is the red curry spiced chicken noodles. So Alex, I'll get you to cook this and I'll talk you through it.
All right. Let's fire up.
So we've got some asparagus, red peppers, some chicken breast, and we've got some red curry paste that is pre-made, so you can just get it out of the jar and then mix it through, so then you don't have to worry about putting extra bits and pieces and seasoning. So what sort of stuff do you guys cook at home?
I'm a bit of a stir-fry man.
You're a stir-fry man.
Myself. Master Foods.
Master Food. So it's just a pre-made sauce thing.
The
that you just
sauce
toss all
on
through
the
together.
shortman.
Okay.
A few veggies.
Yep.
Run away.
This is something that we've been doing here for about 5 or 6 years. It's something that we feel is a really important skill for the boys to learn, and it is part of their overall development and a sort of introduction to the AFL system.
So this water here, we'll just pop these in and they can just cook really quickly.
Smells wonderful.
I know probably when you finish training you just want to go home and eat or just quickly cook dinner. So I'm just showing you different ways that you can do that without sort of eating crap. Pop that straight in. So now what we'll do is put a little bit of the vegetable stock in.
I'm also talking to them about the important nutrients in the food that they're cooking in terms of carbohydrates and protein, which are obviously important nutrients for them as athletes to have an awareness of.
You can tip the whole lot in there. And then they'll separate as you stir the sauce through. Just for a bit of extra flavour, we've got some spring onions. That's on a really high heat. So that
Really
this is
sort of
like
high
you
heat,
can
yeah.
use a wok at home or a large saucepan, a large frying pan, sorry.
And
Just
the
to try
hotter
and
the
get-
better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then just sprinkle a bit of fresh coriander on top.
Presentation.
But also flavour as well, because
Okay.
you mix it through when you eat it.
Nutrition in AFL has come a long way in the last 10 years, and it's a really important part of the boys' physical preparation and recovery strategies in AFL these days.
Hey guys, I'm Tyson Goldsack. Welcome to my nest. Come through, I'll give you a look. Start in the lounge room, I guess. We've just done renovations, so it's all changed recently, but kind of opens up to the study over this side, which I don't do much study, but it looks good. So it's got the desk there, all for looks, obviously. The football, the 2010 premiers, means a fair bit. Just some of the great thinkers of the 20th century, so you get your Martin Luther King and Gandhi and Mother Teresa, and then but probably one of the most influential guys, Billy Brownless, dictionary, just a great thinker and an inspiration really for the whole world that read books. It's an unbelievable read. Brings you to your knees, that stuff. I've got a couple of housemates here with me. I've got Jeff, a little red one, and Archie, the younger brother. So they kind of run their own race, I guess.
Hey mate.
How are you?
I'll just pop over, you know. I'll get myself a drink.
Just comes in whenever he pleases. Helps himself with the fridge, the pantry. So I have no food in there, he takes it all. Got a little mini cup. So that's from the 2010 obviously. I think we all got one, so it's just a nice little reminder again. All right, so you found the bedroom. So this is the master, and then we got a state-of-the-art ensuite. What will be, but it's not quite there yet. Backyard, we probably don't spend a whole heap of time with it, but when we do, we make the most of it. Got the barbie here. Doesn't get used much, but it's obviously hasn't been cleaned for a while either. And out the back here, right next to the spa, we got just kind of a little area. It's almost like a self-contained unit as such. It's got a little ensuite in there, but again, it just gets used to store a bit of excess gear, get the music going, boys in the spa, people out here. It's not a bad area. Keeps people out of the house and keeps the house nice and tidy. So we've got the bike here. My old man had one growing up. Yeah, when I get to a chance to take it out, it's a good bit of fun. I've just got the Jeep Grand Cherokee. I've only had it for about a month or so. New car, and the boys thought it'd be good to put a little sticker on there for me. So this is our, what we call our bikie gang. It's just all a bit of fun and taking the piss a little bit, but because me, Trav Cloak, Twos and Woody all have bikes, we thought we'd make our own little rival bikie gang. It's just a bit of fun. We don't want something too intimidating where actual bikie gangs take us seriously, but we can't fight to save ourselves. So thanks for coming down, see my nest, meet the dogs. Hope I get to see you down at the footy. Cheers.
We know they love to hate us, but that just makes us stronger. For over 100 years we thrived on it, and it will unite us even longer. They hate the sight of black and white that fills the battleground, and they hate our army chanting its intimidating sound. Before us they'll stand together, but only we stand side by side. Arm in arm, our strength is built, so there's no more time to hide. Now this great battle looms, it's as clear as black and white. You can choose to be on the sidelines, or as a member, you're part of the fight.
All we want to know is, are you with us?
Our guest tonight in the studio is a man that plays his 50th game this week against Port Adelaide. Welcome, Marty Clarke. I'm going to rip straight into it. What's your take on the reported rift between Nathan Buckley and the players?
Yeah, well, I've been in the club every day this week, and I certainly haven't been aware of any rift between the players and Nathan. As you say, it's just reported, and you know, any sports I've been involved with before I came down here, the newspapers not just write a match report and maybe a player profile every now and then, but over here they seem to be able to question players and coaches' character, and it certainly isn't true on this occasion, because everyone's totally behind Nathan and he's behind his players.
It's great to have you back at the club. You left at the end of 2009. Just remind us again your reasons for going back to Ireland.
Yeah, there's lots of reasons for leaving home. I suppose I had a lot of family, and my girlfriend was back there as well, and I suppose at that stage I just really wanted to go back and spend time with them, and also to play Gaelic football. But when I left, you know, I always had it in my mind that there was a good chance I would come back out, because I was still very young, and thankfully it has worked out. But I had a wonderful 2 years back there, but I'm very fortunate now to be given the chance to come back and play at Collingwood.
How hard was it to go back to life in Ireland and to adjust back to Gaelic football?
Yeah, it was quite hard to get settled into the way of life, because when I was out playing football and that was fine, it was great. It was just the same as over here, but I also had a job during the day. I was doing coaching in primary schools, and I tried my hand at a few other things, and then when you were tired in the evening, your free time was actually the football, which is a very high level back home as well. So I think it's been great to come back and have your job to get up, and your spare time's your spare time, and your football is your job. It's an amazing opportunity, and I'm certainly really grateful for it. But the 2 years back home were brilliant. I had some great times playing football, and I had some great relationships, obviously, with my girlfriend in particular, and my family and friends as well. I take a lot back from it.
How have you found it coming back to AFL? You don't seem to have lost any of your skill. Did you have a Sharon with you while you were over there?
Well, I definitely wouldn't say I haven't lost too much. Every game I'm learning more, but I actually had a great kicking partner. It was the goalkeeper in our team, County Down, Brendan McVeigh, you call him. So me and him kicked near enough every week. We had a kick, so I have a lot to thank Brendan for, and maybe he could get picked up himself. He kicked it pretty well by the end too, but it's something I love doing, having the AFL football with me, and you know, I certainly I'll continue that, but it was great to have someone to kick with back home, and handball and whatever.
Well, good luck for your 50th game this week against Port Adelaide. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks a lot.
Next week on The Club, it's our Anzac Day show at the special time of 9:30 Tuesday night.